The back country of Arkansas is always the same, no matter which fork of the road you follow. Always the narrow, rutted wagon road that winds past green and white cotton fields, tall waves of whispering corn, down the same valley, up the same hill, in at the gate, and along the path to the weary, rain-grayed farmhouse. And it's always the same woman waiting on the porch, always the same man who brings you a drink from the well. His shoulders are the width between the furrows of his field. His skin is sun-drenched as the earth, his eyes as naked as the rain, his words as simple as his being. That is the man in the backcountry.
So begins Mary Medeiros' classic Arkansas novel about a country doctor and his family during the Depression. Big Doc's Girl is the best-known and most commercially successful book ever given an Arkansas setting, a New York Times bestseller that has remained continuously in print for all but 4 years since its publication in 1942. The novel received universally rave reviews from critics. The New York Times said its generous warmth and human feeling make it delightful reading, and named it one of the 10 best books of 1942. The Saturday Review of Literature proclaimed it well-written, warm, and moving. The Los Angeles Times called it a brilliantly human story that lives with you long after the last reluctantly turned page. Mary Medeiros' powerful story was condensed in Reader's Digest, was serialized in Redbook magazine, was adapted as a play for the stage, and in 1957 was presented as a live TV drama starring Margaret O'Brien, Gene Raymond, and a young Gene Hackman in his first television role. The author was raised in North Little Rock in the 1930s when it was a small railroad town across the river from the Arkansas capital. Like the characters in the book, her father was a doctor, her mother a piano teacher, and Mary's dream was to attend Juilliard School of Music in New York. In the course of realizing her dream, she attended Columbia University, where she wrote a story about her father called Death of a Country Doctor, which won first place in a national short story contest and was included in an anthology of the best American stories of 1942.
The third assignment was to write a chapter of our life that had been a turning point. And I wrote of the night my father died and how all the country people came in and took over. And it wasn't the city people who did it, it was the country people who came in their wagons and brought us food. And that short story, that third assignment, won a national short story contest. And then this teacher suggested that I make it into, write some more stories about the people I knew in the country. And I began to write another story, and she said, "You're writing a book." And after a bit, I had written a book, and that's the book.
For 5 decades, Big Doc's Girl has excited readers all over the world and has been widely studied in literature and creative writing classes from junior high to college level. Mary is frequently invited to visit classrooms where she interacts with students who praise her ability to inspire within them their own desires to dream and to love.
As I look into the sky, I see the future. It is very cloudy to me. Fog has taken over everything. I cannot see through it. I do not know where I am going. I just know I have to get there.
After impacting generations with its enchanting characters and compelling story, Big Doc's Girl is ripe for a major motion picture. The book has been optioned by filmmaker Beth Brickell, another native of Arkansas. In a high-profile article in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Mary enthusiastically endorsed Beth's involvement in the project.
As soon as I saw the movie she had made called Summer's End, it was on the television, and as soon as it finished, I said, that's the person I want to have to direct Big Doc's Girl. And about a month later, a call came from California that she was interested in doing this book, and I simply couldn't believe it.
Beth has written a screenplay adaptation of the novel, treating it with the same passion and insight with which Mary wrote the book.
She certainly stayed true to the story, and she did not change the motives of the people. She didn't change the motives of any of the characters. And she kept the scenery as I had written it too. But now when they did it in New York on the television show, It was dreadful because nobody had ever been to Arkansas. They tried to simulate an Arkansas accent, which nobody had properly. They changed the whole motive of the girl going backcountry to teach. They had her despise the people and trying to love them again. It was so wrong that my mother clicked it off immediately after the first act, and my aunt clicked it off after the second act. So now I'm very happy over what Beth has done for this. It's just right.
Beth Brickell is an actor turned writer, producer, director who, in the 1970s, appeared for 2 seasons in a CBS TV series with Dennis Weaver, Ron Howard's younger brother Clint, and a 650-pound bear, Gentle Ben. Following the series, she guest starred on dozens of other network television shows, receiving Emmy consideration for performances on Hawaii Five-0 with Jack Lord and Bonanza with Michael Landon and Dan Blocker. She appeared in TV movies, including a starring role opposite Richard Widmark in Brock's Last Case, and in motion pictures such as the Paramount release of Posse, in which she co-starred with Kirk Douglas and Bruce Dern. Beth is a member of the legendary Actors Studio and taught at the Lee Strasberg Film and Television Institute in New York and Los Angeles. She stopped acting to accept a director fellowship to the prestigious American Film Institute in L.A., from which she graduated with a master's degree. Since then, she's made a dozen films for commercial, cable, and public television. She wrote, produced, and directed a drama for PBS called A Rainy Day, starring Mariette Hartley. The film won first place in the USA Film Festival in Dallas and 6 other festival awards. The Christian Science Monitor called the film an exquisitely fulfilled moment in time. Judith Crist of TV Guide said it was a beautifully made and deeply touching film. The Los Angeles Times hailed it as remarkable, and the New York Daily News called it a rare gem. Beth filmed a second drama for public television, Summer's End, which she also wrote, produced, and directed. After multiple showings on national PBS, the film was licensed for cable broadcasts on the Arts and Entertainment Network, Nickelodeon, and the Americana Network. Summer's End won a total of 16 film festival and television awards, including top honors at international film festivals in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. Among other projects, the filmmaker has directed network television episodes of Knots Landing for CBS, developed the story for the CBS movie A Family Matter, and written, produced, and directed a cable TV drama, To Tell the Truth.
Rob?
Yes, sir.
Action! Cut. All right, let's do it one more time. Okay. All right, so stand up straight and get out, and you're really going to leave. You've really forgotten your flowers. So you say okay to your mom when she's talking to you, when it's appropriate. Okay? All right, Sally? Let's try it. Action.
Well, I'd love to see her do features. I think she'd be very good. She handles the emotional flow through a long period of time quite well.
I'm going to be cutting directly to this angle. And they'll be stepping into it. How does that work?
It's okay, it's just too far.
She's very good to me. She helps out with sound a lot, and you know, I've not had that from a lot of other directors. It's nice. It's a nice situation to be in.
You guys have got to be talking loud enough for Ruby to hear you.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's say that again.
And she's a great writer, and I think when you come in as a writer, you have a good feel for what you need to do. As far as homework, she's done as much directorial homework as she can do. We have problems, and Beth tries to solve all those problems and gets emotionally involved, and she does do her homework. I mean, in a lot of ways, you could say she knows everyone else's job better than they know it themselves.
Beth has this incredible ability to get whatever she wants from people, and I tease her about it constantly. She just knows how to get, first of all, her actors to do what she wants to do. She knows how to get film and props and people to do just what she wants, and if she doesn't do it one way, she does it another way, and it always gets done.
Cut. How was that? We got a few extras. Extras. 2 adults and a car for free.
Big Doc's Girl is Beth's next project, and she has spent countless hours researching, interviewing, and planning for the production. She has broken down the script and put together a production board for a 6-week shooting schedule. She has scouted locations with Mary Medeiros, learning about the people and places that the author wrote about in the book. In many cases, real-life locations still exist from the 1930s, such as the North Little Rock High School and Main Street in downtown North Little Rock, which has been placed in the National Historic Register. In other places, Beth has found similar locations that date from the time and place depicted in the story and has secured permission to use them. All the locations are in Central Arkansas, and Beth plans to base the production in Little Rock. Big Doc's Girl promises to be a major independent feature in the mold of other critically acclaimed and successful independent features, such as The Piano, The Spitfire Grill, and Fried Green Tomatoes. Big Doc's Girl, an opportunity, a source of pride.